Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and greetings. My name is Nur Syafiqah Binti Aziz and I'm going to present on socio-cultural diversity in education, challenges, implications, and the role of teachers for EDUP 2102 Sociology of Education. Now, what is socio-cultural diversity? Sociocultural diversity encompasses cultural factors that shape how individuals interact with others from different backgrounds. It also affects their responses to management expectations, operational needs, and company policies, ultimately influencing the overall organizational culture. Why is it important? Now, it allows students to feel confident and included. Young learners are inherently curious about both their surroundings and their peers. Establishing a multicultural environment in schools fosters a sense of value and respect among students, helping them build confidence that serves as a strong foundation for their future growth. So, a multicultural environment actually fosters respect and belonging, helping students build confidence for future success. Next is improves learning outcomes for students. In a culturally diverse classroom, students gain exposure to various perspectives and beliefs, engaging in discussions that deepen their understanding of the world. This real world connection leaves a lasting impact far beyond what they might learn from worksheets or textbooks. Basically, exposure to diverse perspectives can enhance critical thinking and deepens their understanding beyond textbooks. The third one is to prepare students for a global economy. Young people who experience cultural diversity in their education develop a stronger cultural awareness, equipping them for success in a global economy. Their ability to interact and communicate with diverse individuals enhances their leadership potential and opens doors to greater opportunities. So, cultural diversity it strengthens communication, leadership, and adaptability, basically. The last one is develop compassionate, open minded individuals. Students in diverse environments develop greater empathy, awareness, and compassion. They become less influenced by stereotypes and more inclined to advocate for those who lack equal representation in society. Basically, diverse environments they reduce biases and encourage advocacy for equality. Now, the infographic here, it provides an overview of Malaysia's population and education transition rates, highlighting key demographic trends, and student progression through different educational level. Now, we can see here that Malaysia's total population is estimated between 34.06 million and 33.40 million, with children making up around 9.14 to 9.15 million of this gender. So the green one is actually the current, and the black one is the the past year. Yes. So the gender distribution among children is fairly balanced, with boys at 4.72 million and girls at 4.42 million. This even distribution ensures that both genders have nearly equal access to education and opportunities for growth. So, in terms of education, the transition rates indicate how students move from one academic level to the next. The primary to lower secondary transition rate has shown improvement, rising from 88.62% to 90.76%, which reflects enhanced access to secondary education. The lower secondary to upper secondary transition rate is even higher, reaching 97.32% to 99.35%, suggesting that most students continue their education through this stage. However, there is a significant decline is observed in the upper secondary to post-secondary level, with rates dropping to 4.08% and 3.79%. This indicates that only a small percentage of students pursue higher education, which may be due to financial barriers, employment opportunities, or a preference for vocational training over academic pathways. So overall, Malaysia has made a notable progress in ensuring students remain in schools through secondary education. However, the low transition rate to post-secondary education suggests a need for targeted policies and support systems such as scholarships, vocational training, incentives, and career guidance to encourage more students to pursue higher education. Now, Malaysia is a diverse multicultural nation with various ethnic groups. The three largest are Malays, Chinese, and Indians, while the Orang Asli are the indigenous people of Peninsular Malaysia. Sabah has 32 ethnic groups with Kadazan Dusun as the largest, while Sarawak has 27 ethnic groups with the Iban as the majority. In 2015, Malaysia's population was 30,995,700, comprising 61.7% Bumiputra, 21.4% Chinese, 6.4% Indians, 0.9% others, and 6.9% non-Malaysian residents. This is from the Malaysia 2016 from the Department of Information. Next, we are moving on to the challenges. The first challenge is language barrier. Students from non-native language backgrounds often face difficulties in understanding and communicating in the language of instruction. This can lead to challenges in comprehending lessons, participating in class discussions, and completing assignments, ultimately affecting their academic performance. A study titled Language Barriers in School Health, Addressing Health Equity in the U.S. Educational System 2023 highlights that language barriers significantly impact students' academic performance and access to educational resources. The next challenge is cultural misunderstandings. Now, diverse cultural backgrounds can lead to misunderstandings in the classroom. Differences in cultural norms, values, and communication styles may result in misinterpretations between teachers and students, or teachers, or among peers, or students and among peers, potentially causing conflicts or feelings of isolation. The article Navigating Learning and Teaching in Expanding Culturally Diverse Higher Education Settings 2023 discusses how cultural differences can lead to misunderstandings and emphasizes the need for culturally responsive teaching methods to bridge these gaps. And the third challenge is discrimination and bias. Now, students from minority cultural or linguistic backgrounds may face conscious or unconscious biases from peers or educators. Such discrimination can manifest as lower expectations, unequal opportunities, or social exclusion, it adversely affecting students' self-esteem and academic outcomes. The study analyzing the influence of cultural distance and language barriers on academic performance among international students in higher education institutions 2023, it indicates that language barriers significantly affect academic performance, while social adjustment and cultural distance can lead to feelings of discrimination and bias. Now we have the benefits of multicultural education. The first one is enhanced critical thinking. The exposure to diverse perspectives challenges students to consider multiple viewpoints, fostering critical analysis and reflective thinking. This environment encourages learners to question assumptions and develop well rounded arguments. The study challenges and benefits of multicultural education for promoting equality in diverse classrooms 2023 highlights that multicultural education improves critical thinking, brainstorming, and problem solving in the classroom. The second benefit is the social development. Now, interacting with peers from various cultural backgrounds enhances students' social skills, empathy, and adaptability. Such interactions prepare students to navigate and collaborate in diverse social and professional settings. Research presented in effectiveness of multicultural problem-based learning models in improving social attitudes and critical thinking skills of elementary school students in thematic instruction 2022 indicates that multicultural problem-based learning models are effective in improving students' social attitudes and critical thinking skills. And the last benefits, it is improved problem-solving skills. Diverse classrooms bring together a range of experiences and viewpoints, leading to innovative solutions and approaches to problem solving. Collaborative learning in such settings encourages students to integrate different perspectives to address complex issues. The article challenges and benefits of multicultural education for promoting equality in diverse classrooms 2023, same as the same article in the first benefits. It also discusses on how multicultural education improves critical thinking, brainstorming, and problem solving in the classroom. Next is the impact on learning outcomes. Now, from the case study, in classrooms with a low minoritized students concentration, peer relationships can mediate the positive as well as negative effects of different dimensions of multicultural education on student engagement. Now, the study effects of multicultural education on student engagement in low and high concentration classrooms, the mediating role of student relationships from Abacioglou et al. They examines how multicultural educational practices influence students' engagement, particularly through peer relationships in classrooms with varying proportions of minoritized students. Now, the key findings from this research is low concentration classroom with less than 30% minoritized students. The equity pedagogy, uh, it implementing equity focused teaching methods positively impacted both emotional and behavioral engagement among students. This effect was mediated by improved peer relationships, suggesting that equitable teaching fosters a supportive social environment conducive to engagement. Next, it also discussed on content integration, where incorporating diverse cultural content into the curriculum unexpectedly led to decreased student engagement. Uh, and this negative effect was also mediated by peer relationships, indicating that merely adding multicultural content without supportive pedagogical strategies might not enhance and could even hinder student engagement. Next is high concentration classrooms, which is more than 70% minoritized students. There is no significant effects of multicultural education practices on student engagement were observed. This could imply that in environments where minoritized students are the majority, other factors beyond multicultural educational practices play a more uh, pivotal role in influencing engagement. Now, the findings from this case study underscore the importance of context when implementing multicultural education. In classrooms with fewer minoritized students, equity pedagogy, teaching strategies that promote fairness and inclusion, can enhance engagement by fostering better peer relationships. However, simply integrating multicultural content without addressing the broader classroom dynamics and relationships may not be sufficient and could inadvertently reduce engagement. In contrast, in classroom where minoritized students predominate, the anticipated benefits of multicultural practices on engagement were not evident. This suggests that in such settings, students might already feel a sense of belonging, and additional multicultural practices do not significantly alter their engagement levels. Alternatively, it could indicate that other challenges in these environments need to be addressed to see a positive impact. And we can see from the slide here, the key findings from this research, there are three mainly. The first one is multicultural education works best when it focuses on inclusive teaching strategies and not just adding diverse content. The second one is the impact depends on the classroom's diversity. What helps one group may not work for another. And the third one is teachers should adjust their approach based on student composition to improve engagement effectively. Now, overall, the study highlights that the effectiveness of multicultural education practices is not universal, but it depends on the classroom composition and the nature of peer relationships. Educators should consider these factors to tailor their approaches effectively to ensure that multicultural education fosters an inclusive atmosphere that promotes engagement for all students. Now we are comparing inclusive versus non-inclusive schools, and this is from the article Comparison of a Traditional and an Inclusive Secondary School Culture by Suzanne Carrington and John Elkins. In this article, they examine the distinct characteristic of traditional and inclusive school cultures, highlighting their impact on educational practices and student experiences. Now, looking at the non-inclusive school, we can see that it emphasizes the emphasis is placed on delivering standardized content, often overlooking the diverse learning needs of students. Next is students are encouraged to compete against each other, which can foster a hierarchical atmosphere and may marginalize those who require additional support. You can see here from the school culture, hierarchical, rigid structure with clear divisions between teachers and students. Now, the teaching style is authoritative, where teachers maintain strong authority, potentially, potentially limiting student autonomy and self-expression. And student engagement, here you can see limited participation with students often passive in learning activities, and they also have minimal accommodations for students with special needs or diverse backgrounds. And in terms of social environment, they are competitive, and the student outcomes is the student have higher stress levels with lower motivation for some students due to pressure to conform. Now we will look at the inclusive school culture where the teaching style is more on student-centered learning. It focus is on addressing individual students' needs, adapting teaching methods to accommodate diverse learning styles and abilities. Next is it emphasizes on cooperation among students, fostering a sense of community and mutual support. It also encourages participatory roles for both students and teachers in the decision making process, promoting a sense of ownership and inclusivity. Now, from this article, the study reveals that traditional school cultures often prioritize content delivery and competition, Traditional school refers to the non-inclusive school, which can lead to the marginalization of students with diverse needs. Diverse needs can also become influenced by the different backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds from the students. In contrast, inclusive school cultures adopt a holistic approach, valuing diversity and promoting practices that cater to all students. This includes modifying curricula to reflect diverse perspectives and implementing teaching strategies that recognize and celebrate individual differences. The authors also argue that transitioning from a non inclusive school to an inclusive school culture requires a fundamental shift in collective beliefs and values. This transformation involves embracing diversity as an asset, fostering collaborative practices, and ensuring that all students feel valued and supported in their educational journey. So, in summary from this article, the comparison underscores the need for educational institutions to critically assess their cultural frameworks. By adopting inclusive practices, schools can create environments where every student has the opportunity to thrive both academically and personally. Now we move on to the roles of teacher in fostering inclusivity. There are three here. Now, teachers are at the heart of promoting inclusivity in classrooms, ensuring that socio-cultural diversity is a strength rather than a challenge. Their role extends beyond delivering academic content. They shape students' perceptions, attitudes, and interactions within a diverse society. By adopting inclusive teaching practices, fostering a sense of belonging, and addressing biases, teachers create an environment where all students, regardless of their cultural, linguistic, or socioeconomic background, can thrive. Now, the first one is creating an inclusive and welcoming classroom environment. A classroom that celebrates diversity starts with a welcoming and respectful atmosphere. Now, teachers can set clear expectations for respect and inclusivity, ensuring that students treat one another with kindness, regardless of their backgrounds. It can also integrate culturally diverse materials in classroom decorations, books, and resources to help students feel represented and valued. Third one is use inclusive language and encourage peer support, fostering an environment where differences are embraced rather than seen as barriers. And this will help in building strong student teacher relationships. The second one is incorporating multicultural education. Now, responsive teaching culturally responsive teaching ensures that students see their identities and experiences reflected in what they learn. Teachers can diversify the curriculum by including literature, history, and perspectives from different cultures, rather than focusing solely on dominant narratives. A teacher can also use teaching strategies that align with diverse cultural learning styles, such as storytelling for oral tradition cultures or group projects for collectivist cultures. Teachers can also encourage bilingualism and linguistic diversity, allowing students to express themselves in their first language when appropriate. Now, the last one is addressing biases and encouraging open discussions. Now, bias, whether conscious or unconscious, can shape students' educational experiences. Teachers must actively work to identify and challenge biases in their classrooms. Now, what they can do is they can reflect on their own biases and how these may influence grading, discipline, or interactions with students. Next, teachers can facilitate discussions on social justice, cultural identity, and discrimination, helping students develop empathy and critical thinking skills. And the last point is ensure fair treatment and equal opportunities so that all students have access to resources, leadership roles, and participation in class activities. Now, in conclusion, embracing socio-cultural diversity in education creates inclusive, engaging, and enriching learning environments. By addressing challenges and leveraging diversity as a strength, teachers play a vital role in fostering respect, equity, and student success. Through inclusive teaching strategies and multicultural education, schools can prepare students to thrive in a diverse, interconnected world. And that is all from me. Thank you.